do you overturn on appeal evidence like this, evidence like strange behavior? And just a moment ago, I spoke with two experts on the case, renowned criminal defense lawyer Theodore Ted Simon, and Vanity Fair contributing editor Judy Bachrach. What will the defense have to do differently about what they call the strange behavior?
The alleged strange behavior is not all that strange. Rather, I think we need to focus on the evidence and, in fact, the absence of evidence. Let's keep in mind there was no hair, no fiber, no footprint, no shoe print, no handprint, palm print, fingerprint, no sweat, no saliva, no blood, no DNA of Amanda Knox in the room where Meredith Kercher was found or on her body.
On appeal, because they tried to make all these points. Yes, Judy.
If I may, the main thing you have to do on appeal in Italy is say that the law, Italian law, has been wrongly applied. You cannot re-argue the case. It's very much like in the United States. Appeals have to say, look, the law wasn't followed.
I think for a lot of us to learn and be told that this is a cultural difference in the courtroom. What is the difference here culturally? You have said, don't get in trouble in Italy. You do not want to be in a courtroom in Italy. What do you mean?
I lived in Italy 4.5 years, and the one thing you find out is that although constitutionally, theoretically, the individual is innocent until proven guilty, in reality, that is not the case. The presumption of innocence does not exist in Italian courts. If you are accused, you will very likely get convicted if it goes far enough. The moment they sent Amanda Knox for over a year to jail before her trial, I sort of figured they were intent on finding her guilty, and she didn't have a chance. And there's another aspect to it, which is she's an outsider. If you are an outsider, particularly a foreigner, you don't know a lot of famous, powerful people, you are sunk. It's more so in Italy than the United States.
Particularly American. Ted, do you think this is anti-Americanism?
I would focus much more on the lack of evidence. It's both compelling and profound in this case. The real problem here was an avalanche of negative pretrial publicity combined with an enormous amount of negative character assassination. And when those two meet, it's virtually impossible to overcome the scant evidence that existed. You might say, were we surprised at this verdict? You can't say we were surprised given the set and setting of what happened. But again, you know, the evidence was really scant.
Judy, anti-Americanism?
That is classic Italian way of doing business, though. You are first tried in the press. And in this instance, Amanda Knox was not only tried in the Italian press, but because the victim was British, she was tried in the British press. And both media found her totally guilty. Jurors are not sequestered in Italy. They are allowed to talk to the press, read the press, do anything they want to do. And some of them said they found her guilty long before the trial was over.
From what you know, Judy, of the Italian court system, I know you speak Italian too, will she win on appeal?
She might. There's a possibility. If Italy is ashamed enough of what it did, and that's going to take some doing, because right now, you mentioned anti-Americanism. There is a feeling that she is the classic American seductress, I'm putting that in quotes, and she's been called in the newspapers a vampire, a praying mantis, and these are all forms of anti-Americanism. So she might win on appeal, but it will take a lot of influence. I gather they're trying to get Hillary Clinton in on it. And it's going to take a lot of clout, a lot of work, I'm afraid.
Yes, she was asked yesterday by George Stephanopoulos, and she said so far she has not said anything to Italy about it. Secretary Clinton did. What about it, Ted? Win on appeal?
Well, there's certainly a distinct opportunity and possibility of winning on appeal. You know, the theory of the prosecution really wasn't made out by the evidence. I mean, all you have to do is ask yourself, here you have a youthful college exchange student with no prior record, no history of violence in her background, and yet somehow she's miraculously transformed into a satanic, ritualistic, evil, premeditated murderer. It doesn't make any sense. And if you can get past that question, then you have to ask yourself, how is this possible when there's not one scintilla of evidence, of forensic evidence, of Amanda Knox found in the room where Meredith Kercher was found or on her body? So it's very difficult to overcome that.
Well, as I understand, it begins in 90 days. We thank you both, and I expect Good Morning America will be talking to you again as this proceeds. So grateful to you both.
You're welcome.
Thank you.